At my nephew's birthday party, I watched everyone cheer when my sister-in-law thanked the real heroes of his life, never once glancing at me, though I babysat for free for years. Later, she handed me a trash bag and said, "Could you at least clean up since you're not doing anything else?" I left without saying a word. Months later, she was begging me to help raise her kids after her divorce. I'm Kay. I live in Livonia, Michigan, about 25 minutes west of Detroit. I'm 46, no kids, never married. I work the early shift at Kroger, been there 14 years. It's not a glamorous life, but it's mine. I'm okay with it. I like quiet mornings, crossword puzzles, and a cold can of Diet Pepsi in the car after work. I never wanted kids. That doesn't mean I don't love them. I do. Especially my brothers. Dean's 3 years younger than me. We were never super close growing up, but we were tight enough. We went through a lot together after our mom died when we were teens. I was 19, he was 16. Our dad checked out after that, so I stepped up where I could. Dean met Rachel 10 years ago. She's from Ann Arbor, which doesn't sound far, but trust me, it's a whole different world. She was raised with money. She speaks like every sentence is meant for an audience. Always perfect nails, hair curled like she's on TV. I never liked her, but I kept my mouth shut. The day she met me, she looked at my hands and said, "You must work with your hands." That's nice. And not in a nice way. Still, when Connor was born, and they asked for help, I said yes. Dean didn't have paid leave. Rachel wanted to go back to work early. They couldn't afford daycare. So I started watching him during the day, sometimes at their place, sometimes at mine. I rearranged my shifts at the store to open early and get off by noon. Then I'd head over and watch him till 6 or 7. This turned into a routine. I'd come in, wash bottles, clean spit up, walk the floor when he cried. I helped with his first words, his first steps, the endless diaper changes. No pay. No gas money. No, thanks, even. Then Sophie came along 2 years later. Same deal. I was there when she came home from the hospital. Rachel had a rough delivery, and Dean was working nights again, so I stayed at their house that whole first week. Sleeping on a couch that smelled like Cheerios and baby powder. I remember one night Sophie wouldn't stop screaming. Rachel came out of the bedroom, stood there for a second, then said, "Can you just take her? I need sleep." She didn't even look at me. Just handed her over and went back to bed. This was normal. Over the years, I became their built-in babysitter. Sick days? I'd come over. Last-minute date nights? I was expected to jump in. I brought over groceries when money was tight. I even bought Connor's Halloween costume one year because they forgot. I'd ask Dean sometimes, "You guys doing okay?" He'd say they were trying. That Rachel was under a lot of pressure. I stopped asking. One time, Rachel left a sticky note on the fridge that said, "Don't let Connor eat too much cheese again. He had diarrhea for 2 days. Thanks." That was her version of communication. I told myself it didn't matter. I wasn't doing it for her. I did it for the kids. They loved me. Connor would wait at the window when he knew I was coming. Sophie used to crawl into my lap and fall asleep every time I sat down. I stayed because of that. Last August, Connor turned 7. Big deal. He wanted a superhero party. Rachel went all out. Rented a bounce house, got a food truck to park in the driveway. They invited everyone: Rachel's parents, her 2 sisters, Dean's old co-workers, the moms from her school committee. I helped set up. I got there early and hung streamers, taped up decorations, sorted out the gift bags. I made myself useful. I always do. When the party got going, I stayed back. I'm not a social person. I know that. I watched the kids bounce around. Watched Rachel flit around like a pageant mom. Dean grilled hot dogs. He looked tired. Toward the end, they brought out the cake. Everyone gathered around the table. Rachel stood on the stone ledge that bordered the patio. She raised her glass of rose like she was about to give a wedding toast. "To Connor," she said. "To the smartest, funniest, bravest little man I know. And to everyone who's helped shape his life." She smiled, looked around the crowd. His amazing teachers, who've guided him. His grandparents, who've supported us. And of course, my girls. She gestured to her friends Shannon, Carly, and Melissa, who were all holding drinks and grinning like idiots. They've been there since day one. The real heroes. Everyone clapped. Someone shouted, "Yeah, Carly's the baby whisperer." Laughter. Dean nodded along. Rachel beamed. I stood there behind the food table, holding a paper plate with half a piece of cake. Not one mention. Not one glance. I was the one who stayed up when he had fevers. The one who taught him to tie his shoes. The one who pulled Sophie out of the bath when Rachel forgot and the water started to overflow. But I wasn't even in the room, apparently. 10 minutes later, Rachel came up behind me. She was holding a black trash bag. "Can you start cleaning up?" she said, handing it to me. "You're not doing anything else?" "No, please." No smile. Just the tone of someone telling a waitress to clear a table. I looked down at the bag. Then at her. I didn't say anything. I just walked through the side gate, got in my car, and drove home. No goodbye. No scene. Just silence. I didn't go back. After that party, I didn't reach out. I didn't answer texts or calls. Dean sent a message 2 days later. "Hey, everything okay? Rachel said you left upset. Let me know." I left it on read. Rachel messaged me on Facebook. "Sorry if there was a misunderstanding. We all appreciated your help." I stared at the screen. Misunderstanding. That's what she called it. I didn't respond. Over the next few weeks, the calls stopped. No one came to ask me for favors. No one dropped off the kids. No last-minute calls about runny noses or school pickups. It was quiet for the first time in years. I got a few extra hours at work. Started sleeping in on Saturdays. Met Larry, a stock guy from the back room, who liked old movies and cooked breakfast every Sunday like it was sacred. Then, in March, Dean showed up at the store. He looked worn down. Dark circles under his eyes, hair messy, shirt untucked. He leaned on my register while I rang up a customer. "You got a second?" he asked. I didn't answer right away. I finished the transaction, nodded to the next person in line, and turned to him. "I don't work off the clock," I said. Cold, yeah, but I meant it. He followed me out when my shift ended. "She left me," he said. "Rachel. She moved out last week." I didn't ask why. "She's been seeing someone," he added after a moment. "Some guy from her gym." I waited. I didn't know who else to tell. I feel like I lost everything. Still, I said nothing. "She's got the kids most days. But when it's my turn," he rubbed his forehead. "They ask for you. Every time." That hit me hard. But I stood still. "I don't know what happened, Kay," he added, almost whispering. "You just disappeared." I looked him in the eye. "I got tired of being invisible," I said. "And I finally acted like it." He swallowed and nodded. He knew. He always knew. He just let it happen. 2 days later, Rachel called. Blocked number. I answered out of curiosity. She sounded desperate. "I need help," she said. "Please. Just for a few hours after school. I'm working double shifts. I don't have anyone." I let the silence hang. I know you're mad, she added quickly. But the kids, Kay, they miss you. They love you. Now she says it. I have nobody else, she said. My sister's busy. My friends, her voice cracked. They can't do it. Funny how fast real heroes disappear when things get hard. I stayed quiet. She started crying. Please. You always helped us. Please. I waited. Then said, flat, no. I'm done. She gasped like she hadn't expected me to say it. Like she still thought I'd fold. I'm not your backup plan, I said. You made it clear who mattered. So go ask them. I hung up. She tried calling again. Then texting. She even emailed. I didn't reply. Dean asked me to watch the kids on his weekends. I said yes. I set boundaries. He respects them now. Rachel's been posting online quotes about strong single moms and fake family who leave when times get hard. People feel bad for her. That's fine. Let them. But I don't feel invisible anymore. A few weeks after that last phone call, I was driving home from work when my phone lit up with a message from Dean. You're not going to believe this. I called him back. Rachel dropped the kids at school this morning and never came back. What do you mean? I asked. She texted me saying she needed time to breathe and drove to Chicago with that guy she'd been seeing. Said she'd be back in a few days. Is she okay? I asked, though I didn't feel much sympathy. She left the kids with nothing but lunch in their backpacks. Didn't even tell the school. Sophie was crying when I got there. That night, he came by with the kids. Connor ran to me like I was the last safe place on earth. Sophie followed and didn't let go for 10 minutes. I made them grilled cheese, let them stay up a little later than usual. They were quiet. Eyes tired. Dean sat at my kitchen table, rubbing his face. I don't know what to do anymore, he said. I didn't want to drag you back into this, but I'm alone here. I nodded. I wasn't going to let the kids suffer because Rachel decided to hit the escape button. She left you with nothing? I asked. Worse, he said. She emptied our joint account. Every cent. The next day, Dean filed for emergency custody. The court moved fast. Rachel didn't show up to the first hearing. I helped him fill out the paperwork. Got the kids new shoes. Made sure their homework was done. It felt natural, and that scared me. A week later, Rachel came back. Alone. No gym guy. Just her, standing on Dean's porch with puffy eyes and fake apologies. I made a mistake, she said. Dean told her to leave. She refused. She started crying on the front lawn, screaming how we were turning her kids against her. Neighbors watched. Sophie hid behind my leg. That night, Rachel posted a long rant on Facebook about toxic in-laws, a bitter spinster aunt who wanted to steal her children, and how Dean was mentally abusive. Full-on smear campaign. People started talking. Some believed her. But the ones who knew the truth? They reached out. Quietly. One of her real hero friends messaged me to apologize. I had no idea, she said. Rachel always made it sound like she did everything. She didn't know half of it. One of the other moms offered to testify on Dean's behalf. Said Rachel had been skipping school pickups, even before Chicago. The court gave Dean full temporary custody. Rachel was allowed supervised visits once a week if she showed up. She didn't, half the time. The kids stopped asking for her. She started begging again. Texts, voicemails, emails full of guilt and manipulation. Please, Kay. I'm trying. I've made mistakes, but I'm their mother. I never replied. She even showed up at my job. came into the store while I was bagging groceries. Face pale, makeup smeared. "Kay, can we just talk?" she whispered. I stared at her, didn't stop working. "You're destroying my life," she hissed. "I hope you're happy." I looked her dead in the eye. "No," I said. "You did that all by yourself." She stormed out. Left behind a basket full of groceries she couldn't afford anyway. 3 months passed. Rachel moved into a tiny one-bedroom apartment outside Dearborn. She told anyone who'd listen that Dean stole the kids and I poisoned them against her. The truth was simpler, she just quit on them. She barely showed up to visits. When she did, she came late or forgot something important. One time she left Sophie sitting in the lobby of the supervision center because she'd lost track of time. Connor stopped asking about her completely. He started calling me KK again. That's what he used to call me when he was 3. Then came the custody hearing. Rachel showed up looking polished but tired. Hair flat ironed, suit jacket too big on her frame. I was there with Dean. The kids were home with my neighbor. The judge asked questions. Rachel gave long, emotional answers, full of, "I miss them so much," and "I've changed." The judge asked for proof of stable income, living situation, regular involvement. She had none. Dean stayed calm. Showed every record. School attendance. Text logs. Missed visits. He didn't throw her under the bus, he just laid out the facts. The judge turned to Rachel. "Your children need stability," he said. "And you haven't shown this court you can provide that." She broke down in the courtroom. Started crying and rambling, saying Dean and I were teaming up to erase her. That we'd always been against her. That I wanted her life. I stood up. "Your Honor, may I speak?" He allowed it. I looked straight at Rachel. "I gave her years of my life," I said. Watched her kids for free. Missed work. Changed diapers. Stayed up through sick nights. She never said thank you, not once. And when she had the chance to acknowledge me, she erased me in front of a crowd. Then asked me to clean up her mess. Rachel glared at me. Her mouth opened, but I kept going. She only remembered me when it was convenient. When no one else showed up. Well, now I'm showing up. For the kids. Not for her. The judge nodded. His decision came 5 minutes later. Full custody to Dean. Rachel was given 1 supervised visit a month. No overnights. She was ordered to pay child support, starting the next month. She lost it. Screamed that it wasn't fair. That the system hated mothers. That Dean manipulated the court. She was escorted out by security. I heard her cussing the whole way down the hall. Outside the courtroom, Dean looked at me. "Thank you," he said. I nodded. "Don't thank me. Just do right by them." He promised he would. It's been almost a year. Rachel moved again last I heard. She's living with a cousin near Toledo. She sees the kids maybe once every 3 months. They're doing better without the chaos. Connor's in 2nd grade now. He's reading at a 4th grade level. Sophie just turned 5. She wants to be a vet. They come to my place every weekend. Dean works late. We watch movies, make pancakes, build forts. They still ask questions sometimes, why mommy left, why things are different. I don't lie, but I keep it simple. She loves you, I say. But some people aren't good at being there. Dean has gotten better too. He goes to all the meetings, packs the lunches, reads the bedtime stories. I make sure he knows how much that matters. As for me, I finally started taking care of myself again. Larry and I go bowling once a week. I sleep in on Sundays. No more last-minute favors. No more being invisible. Rachel thought I was nothing more than free help. She didn't realize that when you burn the only bridge holding up your world, you fall alone. And I didn't push her. She jumped.